Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to address my colleagues regarding my bipartisan bicameral H.R. 2315, the Mobile Workforce State Income Tax Simplification Act. Mr. Speaker, according to the 10th Amendment, states are generally free to set their own public policy. It's important, however, that they do so in a way that does not place a substantial burden upon the Commerce Clause of the United States Constitution. As the American workforce becomes increasingly more mobile, Congress has the constitutional duty to ensure that state public policy does not interfere with interstate economic activity. As an attorney and business owner, I've seen firsthand how complicated all these different state income tax laws are for those who travel and work. These burdens affect small businesses in particular, as well as their employees, because they simply do not have the resources to comply with all the varying state income tax requirements that exist today. Employers are currently being punished with complex reporting standards and the expense that result from filing all of this paperwork, simply because they must travel outside their home state for work. And rather than expanding payroll or reducing prices for consumer goods, businesses are being forced to spend their hard-earned and scarce resources on complying with convoluted state income tax. This certainly fits the definition, in my opinion, of government red tape. During the subcommittee hearing on my bill last year, one witness testified that his employer had filed 10,500 W-2s on behalf of their numerous employees, primarily because they had crossed state lines for work. He went on to tell us that one of his coworkers had to file 50 W-2s just for himself. Imagine an individual making less than $50,000 a year having to file 50, 20, or even 10 W-2s. It's simply unacceptable to place that burden on our workforce today, and moreover, it's unacceptable for us to let it go unresolved any longer. The Constitution grants Congress the authority to enact laws to protect the free flow of commerce among the states. It is imperative that Congress respects the 10th Amendment, but states must not use that power to prey upon workers from different states simply to raise revenues. That said, the complex array of state income tax laws in this nation deserves a serious overhaul. And that's why conservative states' rights legislative groups such as the American Legislative Exchange Council agree and support this legislation, specifically identifying H.R. 2315 as the type of interstate commerce regulation Congress should enact. In fact, that's why more than 300 outside organizations to date have pledged their support for this bill. With the help of my colleague, Representative Hank Johnson, on the other side of the aisle, our Mobile Workforce State Income Tax Simplification Act is a carefully crafted, bipartisan, bicameral measure that streamlines state income tax laws across the nation. It creates a uniform 30-day threshold before which a non-resident cannot be exposed to another tax liability. This ensures employees will have a clear understanding of their tax liability, and it gives employers a clear and consistent rule so that they can plan and accurately withhold taxes, knowing that the same rule applies for all states with an income tax. And best of all, it means much less paperwork and reduced compliance costs for everyone involved, business owners and employees. The goal of 2315 is to protect our mobile workforce, and that includes traveling emergency workers, first responders, trade union workers, nonprofit staff, teachers, and federal, state, and local government employees. Any organization that has employees that cross state lines for temporary periods will benefit from this law. I would also note that great care was taken with this bill to diminish the impact on state revenues. My colleague across the aisle suggested concerns with this, and I would point out that a 2015 study the chairman raised earlier, conducted by Ernst & Young, found that H.R. 2315 would actually raise tax revenues in some states, while other states would only see a de minimis change. With that, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the 308 members of the Mobile Workforce Coalition who support the bill. I want to thank Chairman Goodlatte for all of his time and effort. All 180 of my colleagues that have co-sponsored this House bill, as well as Senator Thune, Senator Brown, and nearly half of the United States Senate that has co-sponsored our companion bills so far. The Mobile Workforce State Income Tax State Simplification Act is a simple way to reduce obvious administrative burdens. With so much red tape interwoven in today's tax code, this bill is a common sense way to cut through the clutter and simplify part of the filing process moving forward. Together we can make our workforce the priority and help our small businesses grow and save. I strongly urge my colleagues to pass H.R. 2315, and with that,